Good evening once again, everyone. I hope that you have enjoyed your meal. If you're still enjoying your meal, please continue to do so. Tonight's a special night. Tonight we're going to recognize some amazing people who have represented this institution with great distinction and great honor. You're going to hear some amazing stories tonight. You're going to meet their families. You're going to see what they have done to make our world a better place to be. And I'm especially pleased to tell you that tonight, for the very first time, we are live streaming this awards portion of the program around the world. We have students running our cameras, we have students running video, we have a faculty member directing the entire production, and for those of you who have your smartphones handy, you can tweet out right now or text somebody and let them know that they can watch this program live right now at ToledoAlumni.org, or go to utoledo.edu and click on the alumni link and it will take you right there. And oh, by the way, if they can't see it, and of course you're all going to be watching it live and in person, it will be available on demand in perpetuity. So you're going to get to not only see these folks tonight, but also see their videos for as long as you like, and we hope that you do take advantage of this new offering. We're very, very excited about it. We've had great leadership for your Alumni Association over the years. Believe it or not, the Alumni Association has been around for nearly 100 years. And we've got a number of our past presidents here tonight. They have represented your alma mater and your Alumni Association also with great distinction. We've got another great one for you this year. He's a 2004 graduate of the College of Business and Innovation. He earned his MBA from UT 6 years later in 2010. He is the president of American Timber and Steel. Would you please say hello to Mr. Rob Liley.
Thanks, Dan. Welcome back, Rockets. Family, friends, welcome to our beautiful campus and our annual Homecoming Gala. During your trip this weekend, I hope you will have time to explore and walk around our amazing campus. It truly is beautiful. The entire appearance of the university was inspired by UT's sixth president, a young 38-year-old Dr. Henry Dorman, back in 1928. He is recognized as the father of the general structural design of the university. He proposed a collegiate Gothic architectural design following universities of Europe at that time. He felt that this would be an inspiring for students. University Hall and the Field House were built under his tenure. Wow. That was the sentiment I had after my first gala 11 years ago. It never gets old. I continue to be awed by each and every year since. Dan and his team have prepared another spectacular ceremony, one that will leave you proud and honored by your alma mater, or jealous if you went to the school down south. Our alumni successes, both personally and professionally, are so important to our great university's continued prosperity by raising awareness of what UT has to offer. The Alumni Association is pleased and honored to help recognize these outstanding graduates today. I'm pleased to tell you that our dues-paying membership in the Alumni Association is up to 18% in the past 2 years. It's amazing. This helps greatly in the U.S. News and World Report rankings, which is something studied very closely by prospective students and their parents. I want to thank you for your membership in the Alumni Association, and if you're not a member, please consider joining. In 11 days, in conjunction with UT's Founders Day, UT will host our Day of Giving. We're counting on everyone in Rocket Nation to join our 36-hour fundraising campaign to help students launch their UT educations and complete their degrees, to help faculty members continue research that impact lives, to fund new drug therapies and medical advancements that improve patient care, and to support many UT programs across campus. Last year, our inaugural year, we raised over $450,000 from over 1,600 donors. Gifts of all sizes are appreciated. Whether you give $25 or $2,500 to Rocket Forward, You Launch Lives, You will advance the possibilities for UT students and faculty to continue their educational mission. The event begins early morning on Tuesday, October 16th and closes on October 17th at noon. If you're not available during that day, we can take early donations on the website. It's important. The virality we create on social media will drive the success of this campaign. Please help by resharing, retweeting any posts you see that day. There will be a live ticker of funds raised on the website as well as on social media. Please help us make this year even more successful than last year. Hope to see you at Rocket Forward You Launch Lives. In closing, be prepared to be wowed by the amazing accomplishments of the awardees this evening. And I look forward to seeing every one of you before the game tomorrow at the parade and at the William and Carol Kester Alumni Pavilion. Enjoy your evening. Go Rockets.
Rob Bliley, thank you very much, Rob.
TOL!
EDO! Rob, thank you very much. Rob Bliley. I can't believe this, but it's been 3 years now. It seems like she came here just yesterday, but when you start to realize what Dr. Sharon Gaber has accomplished as the president of our alma mater, it's pretty doggone impressive. We have had 17 presidents in the history of the University of Toledo, and in my opinion, she ranks right up there. Would you please welcome the president of our alma mater, Dr. Sharon Gaber.
Thank you, Dan. Well, good evening, everyone. Alumni, students, faculty, staff, community VIPs, and other special guests. So as Dan mentioned, after 3 years, I am still extremely proud to serve as the president of this fantastic university. Since I arrived in 2015, everyone has made me feel right at home in Rocket Nation. No wonder so many of our alumni return each year to celebrate homecoming among friends they've made for life. Dan asked me to provide an update on the University of Toledo, and I'm going to keep my remarks brief because we really want to focus on our alumni and our award winners tonight. So as a campus community, we're all continuing to work hard to achieve 5 key strategic goals. And I've said them many times, so hopefully you're familiar with them. Improve student success, raise the university's national reputation, foster excellence among our faculty, staff, and alumni and students, maintain a strong financial base, and strengthen our community engagement. I'm proud to report that we're making progress in all of these fronts. Our incoming class this year was the best academically prepared in UT history. Average GPA 3.45, ACT over a 23. I've had some alums actually say, well, Sharon, I might not have gotten in. I'll tell you, we're still taking students, and we'll take all students, but we are very pleased that we've become an institution that students of high ability are saying, I really want to be a part of the University of Toledo. Along with that, our graduation rate has increased by 5.5% between 2017 and 2018. And a 5.5% increase in a graduation rate is really phenomenal. A lot of institutions work hard to get it up 1 or 2%. We are going to keep working on that and keep pushing because we want our graduation rate even higher. Our first to second year retention rate has also increased for the 5th consecutive year. And I'll tell you that in the past 10 years, we've increased that by 10%. To work on accessibility and affordability, we've implemented the Toledo Tuition Guarantee Program. What that's done is we started that this year. Students who started the university as freshmen this year are locked in with a tuition rate that they now have for the 4 years that they are in school. Lots of institutions in the state did it. We're proud to be a part of that, and we're proud so that students and their families can plan on what that looks like for the tuition. In terms of research funding, we've worked to increase that. And earlier when Dan introduced Dr. Calzanetti, who's our Vice President for Research, this year new grant funding has increased by $27.1 million. That's contributing to a 5-year high. And combined with renewing research grants, we're up at $47 million. That is a 21% increase in research funding over 2017. Just to give you an idea of some of our largest grants, a $2.6 million grant, which is studying the link between high blood pressure and GI tract bacteria, a $2.1 million grant to develop a new antibiotic related to tuberculosis, and a $1 million grant to study cell behavior to be able to better treat cancer. Along with that, for our faculty that are in areas that might not have the same sort of STEM or research focus, our faculty publications and citations are up 12% in the past 2 years, and UT faculty are ranked number 3 in the state of Ohio in terms of publications and citations, so we're very pleased with that. As you're on campus this weekend, we encourage you to look around. There have been some renovations. If you haven't been in Carlson Library recently, for those of you who might remember it a long time ago, there are now windows in it. So if you go in there, there are large windows and students are in there studying, daydreaming, looking out the window. It's a beautiful environment. We are also building a Starbucks on the second floor, which will be opening October 31st. That will be our second Starbucks on campus, in part because the first one is so busy all the time. We also did a renovation this past year of Parks Tower. That was a $12 million renovation. We have 670 students that are in Parks Tower. Having been in there, they're enjoying really the fireplaces, the wood floors, the different aesthetic elements there, and they're really enjoying it. And now they're saying, make sure we renovate the other residence halls. So something to look forward to. Also, as you're looking on campus and in the community, we now have Lime scooters on campus. This is the first year of having that. Our students have really enjoyed those. They are, if you haven't had the opportunity, and they're all over, you get an app on your phone, it unlocks them, you ride, and then the app locks them back up. I've taken them a couple times, and they are kind of fun, so I encourage you to give them a try. We also made an agreement with our local transportation, TARTA, so that now all of our students, faculty, and staff ride TARTA for free. They show their ID. That helps our students to get downtown, which was something they were interested in. It helps them get to the mall. It helps them get to Walmart. So we've increased their access across the community. I would point out, and Dan introduced our Vice President for Diversity and Inclusion. We're doing a lot in that area. This year we've received the Governor's Distinguished Hispanic Ohioan Award from the state. We're excited about that. And you also met our Vice President for Intercollegiate Athletics, and we're very pleased that we recently received the Mid-American Conference Institutional Academic Award for the best overall GPA of all of our student athletes. The GPA was 3.26. We're thrilled with our student athletes' academic work. So all of our strategic priorities are focused on long-term success of our students, empowering future alumni for lifelong success. Please help to share our good news wherever you go. Show your pride by wearing our UT colors and flying a rocket flag. And I would say thank you very much for being here, and congratulations to tonight's award recipients. I hope everyone here enjoys a great homecoming weekend, and I'll see everyone at the game. Thank you, and go Rockets.
Dr. Sharon Gaber. You know, she mentioned flying your rocket flag with pride. Well, let me tell you this. When you join the Alumni Association and renew your membership, our giveaway this year is a free Toledo Rockets flag. So you'll be receiving those in the mail when you rejoin the Alumni Association. And folks, if you're lifetime members, and I know we have a few, if you'd like a rocket flag, you call the Alumni office. We'll be glad to get one out to you as well. Thank you for your lifetime membership in the Alumni Association. Are you ready to be amazed? We've got some outstanding alumni, and you're going to meet them. You're going to find out a whole lot about them, and you're going to hear some amazing stories of how they have impacted our world and their alma mater. We're going to take the colleges in alphabetical order. We're going to begin with the College of Arts and Letters under the direction of Dean Charlene Gilbert. Their award recipient this year joins us from Washington, D.C., Eileen Bradner. The College of Arts and Letters 2018 Outstanding Alumni Award recipient is a mover and a shaker in our nation's capital. At any given moment, you may find Eileen Bradner rubbing shoulders with the likes of Ohio Senator Sherrod Brown. The next day, it may be a vice president like Joe Biden, or the current number 2 person in the White House, Mike Pence. The 1980 magna cum laude political science graduate who counts Toledo area United States Representative Marcy Kaptur as one of her dearest friends, works both sides of the aisle in D.C. The native Toledoan, who now lives in Arlington, Virginia, has earned the respect of presidents such as George W. Bush and senators and American heroes like the late John Glenn. Even Abe would nod in honest agreement that the Senior Director and Counsel of Federal Government Affairs for Nucor Public Affairs is one of the top lobbyists in America, where she asks, do you support American manufacturing, American jobs? As the head of Nucor's D.C. office, Eileen works with Congress and the executive branch on behalf of her employer, the largest steel producer and recycler in the U.S., with 25,000 employees and over 200 facilities. Her role has taken her to Trump Tower in New York City and to Paris alongside representatives of the United Steelworkers of America. President Grant knows that when Eileen comes calling, you can bet at least $50 that she's going to want to talk about international trade and infrastructure, as well as environmental and energy policy. UT was Eileen's backyard growing up on Middlesex Drive. The 1977 DeVilbiss High School grad, she's really smart, but this is not her senior portrait, is the daughter of Robert, a certified public accountant, and the late Joan Bradner, a church pianist. Dad now lives in Mansfield. He fought in the Battle of the Bulge after leaving Central Catholic High School before graduation. Eileen is proud to say that her father was named class valedictorian in 2002, after it was discovered some 60 years later that he had earned that distinction. The middle of 5 siblings, Eileen is bookended on the upper end by Houstonian Kathy Penske and UT Pharmacy grad Karen Rolandelli, who lives in Greensboro. She was followed by her late sister Liz Kunkel and brother Jerry, a UT Business and Education alum who lives in Mansfield. As a UT student, our awardee had 3 mentors, giants, she says, who shaped her life. Eileen worked in the Kennedy Center, the Rare Books and Archives section of Carlson Library, under Lucille Empsch, who taught her to approach life with passion and hard work. She's still in touch with the family of late political science professor George Willis, whom she always called when she had to make a tough decision, as well as the family of the late Charles D. Benedetti, a history prof whose son Eileen now mentors. A career in Washington was fueled when, as a UT junior, Eileen was selected to be U.S. Representative Lud Ashley's Lyndon Baines Johnson intern. The Georgetown University law grad's career includes working for Senators Lawton Chiles and John Glenn on the staff of the U.S. Senate Special Committee on Aging, serving as Glenn's legislative assistant and then as a partner in the law firm of Wiley, Ryan, and Fielding, where she was involved in U.S. steel industry issues on behalf of Nucor. They hired her away in 1990. A Mending Hearts volunteer who helps those recovering from open heart surgery, Eileen's heart was filled with love in 1993 when she went to Russia and adopted a baby girl named Ksenia from an orphanage. When they arrived home, John Glenn threw a shower for the new family in his Senate office. Ksenia, a professional historian in Washington, and her mom have returned to Russia to do community service work and visit her birth city and orphanage in St. Petersburg. Eileen started a national support group for families who have adopted from the former Soviet Union, and mom and daughter are very active in Russian-American cultural activities. She spent a career successfully fighting for American manufacturing and jobs in the highest levels of our government. Eileen Bradner is the College of Arts and Letters Outstanding Graduate. Eileen, congratulations. We move now to the College of Business and Innovation, and we have a brand new dean. It's so much a pleasure to welcome her to our campus. This young lady right here is Dean Ann Bayliss. Welcome, welcome. Their award recipient, she's also an amazing lady. Would you please say hello to Sandra Beach Lynn.
Little did anyone know in the 1960s that this little second grader from South Toledo would become a big player in the world of corporate business directorship. So big, in fact, that the now Sandra Beach Lynn has been named to the National Association of Corporate Directorship 100, a designation identifying the top 100 corporate directors and corporate governance experts in the United States. Mom Dorothy and Dad Bob's daughter, a 1980 magna cum laude general management major, has a new designation. She is the College of Business and Innovation's Outstanding Alumna in 2018. The Delta 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 member who serves on the National Executive Board of her sorority is a rock star in the business world, parlaying 30 years of corporate leadership and global company operating credentials into a national leadership role as a board member for some of the biggest companies in America. She's on the board of Wesco International, a Fortune 500 distributor of products including automation, electronics, and communications. The University of Michigan MBA grad, whose commencement was attended by Mom and Dad and brother Bob, is a member of the board of directors of American Electric Power, one of the largest electric utilities in the country. Emily's mom is also a member of the board of PolyOne Corporation, a global provider of specialized polymer materials, services, and solutions. And if that's not enough, Clay Monza's mother is on the board of Interface Biologics, a privately held early commercial stage firm developing transformative biomedical polymer technology for medical devices. And all of this comes on the heels of 3 decades of corporate suite work that has taken the now resident of the Dallas suburb of Flower Mound, Texas, around the world to places like Singapore, where she established the Asia-Pacific footprint for Honeywell's formerly Allied Signals Specialty Wax and Additives Division. Sue, Doug, and Bob's sister was also president of Honeywell's Bendix Commercial Vehicle Systems. She served as president of Alcoa's Closure Systems International and as corporate executive vice president of Celanese, a global chemical products company. She retired from a daily trip to the top floor corner suite in 2011 as president and CEO of Cali Solar, a manufacturer of solar-grade silicon. Sandy credits her involvement in junior achievement as a student at Bowsher High School for honing her leadership and financial skills. A first-generation college student, she became national vice president of JA while at Bowsher. Sandy landed a JA scholarship for her efforts and through the JA network secured a job at the Dana Corporation, which enabled her to pay for her UT education. Little surprise then that one of the top corporate directors in America today now serves as a board member of Junior Achievement USA. Our awardee shares leadership at home with her husband Patrick, a retired mechanical and software engineer she met in New Jersey. They married in Perrysburg in 1988. Sandy's leadership apple hasn't fallen far from the large family tree. Emily is an OBGYN resident at Northwestern Memorial Hospital in Chicago, and Clay Mons is a key account coordinator at New York City-based OXO, a cooking tools and houseware firm. Recognized as one of the top corporate directors and corporate governance experts in the country, she's also tops in the College of Business and Innovation, Sandra Beach Lynn, COBI's Outstanding Graduate for 2018.
Sandra Beach Lynn, everyone. It's time to move now to the College of Engineering under the direction of Mike Toole. Got a really fascinating gentleman we'd like to have you meet tonight, Mr. Bill Lipner.
The Bill Lipner story is full of passports, 5 to be exact, 48 pages each. They were his passport to building a global business empire that would eventually span 5 continents, 44 countries, and 11,000 employees. The College of Engineering is giving the 1968 electrical engineering grad another stamp, the stamp of approval. For his amazing success, Bill is the college's distinguished alum for 2018. Bill has always been able to take it to the hoop. He was a 3-year varsity letter winner at Start High School in West Toledo. We don't want to get on a soapbox, but there was something about our award winner that separated him from the rest. He knew how to get to the finish line first. There's a reason the 1966 Stark graduate was inducted by his alma mater into the school's Hall of Fame in 2014, and not for his athletic prowess. Bill took NFO public, a Toledo-based custom market research firm that was started in the Glass City by the grandparents of his wife of now 46 years, the former Debbie Trumbull, and grew it from a $9 million company to a $600 million one based upon these principles. Chosen by Forbes magazine on multiple occasions as one of the 200 best small companies in America, Bill sold NFO 3 times and bought it back twice before retiring from the firm in 2004. Because of Bill's ability to grow NFO organically, his strategic acquisitions, and his ability to successfully integrate them behind common goals all over the world, NFO was recognized annually as the fastest growing research company worldwide from 1997 to 2004. NFO was listed on the New York Stock Exchange late in 1997 to help build NFO's global footprint, and Bill was there to ring the bell in the new year with Debbie and their sons Drew and Wes alongside. Bill will tell you that his success is rooted in Toledo and its university. Dorothy and Bob's son loved his parents so much that he wanted to stay here for college, and he worked full-time as a fireman for the New York Central Railroad to pay for school. He lived at home while earning his associate's engineering degree and, in 1971, a bachelor's in personnel from the College of Business. Bill was a UT student when Debbie's childhood friend and babysitter, Kathy Fearman, blindly introduced the couple. That first date was a Thanksgiving party, and their harvest together, like Bill's career, has proven bountiful. Drew and Wes both live in San Francisco. Drew worked with his dad at NFO, and then again when Bill established Inside Express in 1999 as part of NFO, sold it in 2003 and bought it back in 2004, an entity specializing in the measurement of advertising and brand communications. Drew is now president of U.S. Digital Media for WPP, the London-based firm that today owns NFO and Inside Express. Drew and his wife Hillary have given Bill 3 grandchildren, Wells, Halsey, and Becton. Bill's passion for sailing has been passed to Drew, who served as webmaster and led corporate events on the water in Auckland for the New York Yacht Club's Young American entry in the 1999 America's Cup in New Zealand. Bill and family now invest in commercial real estate projects that Wes identifies and rehabs in the Bay Area. He previously was managing director of Grassy Creek LLC in London, a global real estate acquisition group. Technically, Bill is retired, but retired comes in quotation marks. He currently serves on 3 boards and is chairman and CEO of 2. While on vacation in New Zealand in 1997, Bill and Debbie fell in love with the country. Today, his Lipner Partners LP owns high country cattle and sheep stations. Their property in the southern Alps of New Zealand includes a historic private hotel in Queenstown Bill redeveloped that was named Best New Small Hotel in the World. He sold that hotel to a private equity firm. Bill's family was granted permanent residency in New Zealand by the Crown for their contributions to the country, and today Bill and Debbie split their time between their home in Queenstown, a summer home in Leland, Michigan, and their main residence in Greenwich, Connecticut. A licensed pilot who on 4 occasions has flown a World War II P-51 Model D Mustang, Wells's Poppy is one of the most successful graduates in the history of the University of Toledo. In recognition, the College of Engineering proudly presents Bill Lipner as its distinguished graduate this year.
Bill, congratulations to you. Our next college is the College of Health and Human Services. The dean of that college won one of these awards not too long ago, Dean Chris Ingersoll. Their award recipient is the lady right here in the very front row, and I think those of us that have lived in the area for a long time will recognize the name immediately, the Honorable Barbara Sears.
Here's a number that's simply astounding, $27 billion. That's billion with a capital B. That's the budget that Barbara Sears is responsible for annually as director of the Ohio Department of Medicaid. The bucks stop and start with the College of Health and Human Services Outstanding Alumna this year, a 1983 associate's degree paralegal grad. More important than the dollars, though, is the impact Barbara, who was sworn into office by 2018 Gold T recipient and former Attorney General Betty Montgomery, and her 600 employees have on our state. There are 11.5 million Ohioans, including Ann Glenn, the wife of former Senator and astronaut John Glenn. A total of 3.5 million of those benefit from the Medicaid program, which provides long and short-term health care to low-income residents. Now finishing her second year in the post after being tapped by Ohio Governor John Kasich, Barbara's responsibilities include overseeing the agency's goals and objectives, developing policies and procedures, representing Ohio Medicaid in testimony before congressional and General Assembly committees, and leading negotiations with federal agencies on proposed funding. Two-time Heisman Trophy winner Archie Griffin's friend began her public servant career as a member of City Council in Sylvania back in 1998. She spent 10 years there before serving 5 terms as a member of the Ohio House of Representatives. In the House, the former Barbara Backus served as Majority Floor Leader and was often called upon to serve as Speaker and lead the House during session. Term limited, Barbara joined the Governor's Office of Health Transformation in mid-2016 before being chosen for the directorship of ODM 5 months later. What many may not realize about Berta Keeney's UT roommate is that she was a successful insurance and employee benefits professional before becoming a state employee. The former president of the Toledo Metropolitan Area Council of Governments used her legal assisting degree to become corporate vice president and a part owner of Picton Kavanaugh in the 80s and 90s, before founding Benefit Resource Systems and later Noble and Sears, which was sold to Romer Insurance in 2012. While serving as Senior Vice President of Employee Benefits, Romer was sold to the Ashley Insurance Group in 2016. Barbara stayed with Ashley until becoming a full-time state employee. One of Barbara's greatest treasures? Memories of her late parents, Dorian Reid. Dad was a dentist who served on Sylvania City Council for 37 years, 10 of which were spent with his daughter. Reid was one of the founders of the Tam O'Shanter Skating Complex in Sylvania, and his love of ice sports was passed to his daughter, as well as her brother Dave, who, like his dad, is also a dentist. Dave earned a bachelor's in pharmacy from UT in 1983. The mother of adult boys Hunter and Ben, Barbara completed a bachelor's degree in 2016 through the University of Phoenix. Hunter's mom is working on a master's in health administration through that same online program and will finish in the spring. Ben and his wife Gina presented Barbara with a grandson named Reid in honor of her dad. She served with distinction as a state representative before being named to one of the most important positions in the state of Ohio. The governor holds her in high regard, as does her alma mater. When her 10-year tenure as state representative ended in 2016, Barbara was given a key to the State House. 2 years later, another award. The Honorable Barbara Sears is the College of Health and Human Services Outstanding Graduate.
Barbara, thank you very much, and keep up all that great work down in Columbus on behalf of your alma mater and all of us who are residents of the state of Ohio. Up next is the Judith Herb College of Education, and it's always a pleasure to introduce the college's namesake. Judy Herb has never missed one of these awards ceremonies, and we're so glad to have her back on campus again this weekend. Judy, welcome back home. Thank you very much. We have a new dean in the Judith Herb College of Education, Mr. Ray Whitty. Would you please say hello to him, if you would, please? And the award recipient this year from the Judith Herb College of Education, Mr. Ken Mclaren.
The Judith Herb College of Education's 2018 Outstanding Alumnus has had 2 successful careers, one in education, the other in real estate, and he's not bad as a fisherman either. Kenneth Mclaren, who earned a master's degree in education on Bancroft Street in 1966, spent 16 years as the distributive education director for Sylvania and Toledo Public Schools. But it is in property ownership that Ken has really made his mark. You may not recognize his name, but you will recognize his real estate. Ken is the managing partner for the Wingate Hotel in Sylvania, a property run by his daughter, Leah. He has another Wingate Hotel adjacent to the Convention Center in Lima, Ohio. It's the first hotel Ken built from the ground up. If you've ever been to Port Clinton, you may have dined or stayed at the historic Island House Hotel. He's involved with the Manitou Beach Marina in Michigan's Irish Hills, and he co-owns the marina slips at Port of the Islands in Naples, Florida. Ken recently sold the Westgate Ramada Inn and some of the surrounding land, all of which is being redeveloped. Our award winner recently purchased the Chicago Title Building on North Erie Street, as well as an adjacent building he's planning to redevelop as commercial or residential space. In all, his McLaren Management Company has owned or partnered with the likes of best friend Dick McIntyre on an estimated 30 to 40 major developments. Ken grew up in Cleveland with his sister Marilyn. He went to Ohio State University, where he earned a business degree in 1958, and then to Baldwin Wallace College, where he completed a bachelor's in education in 1961. Casey's dad was employed by Sylvania Schools after graduation, spending 4 years there before being hired away by TPS to establish comprehensive vocational programs and construct skill centers in all of Toledo's public high schools. Ken did it so well that in 1969, he was named the Distributive Education Clubs of America Supervisor of the Year for the entire country. Ohio's governor at the time, Jim Rhodes, was so impressed that he asked Ken, "What's in the water in Toledo?" Another reward Ken received came in 1976 when he met his now wife of 39 years, Jalna. She was a supervisor intern who shared Ken's office suite. As sweet as his time in education was, Ken decided he didn't want to work for anyone anymore, and in 1977 left to pursue a career in commercial real estate. In 2 years, he was Danbury Realty's top salesman. His first personal development was a small shopping center on Heather Downs Boulevard, and his new career soon took off faster than the Greenwood hatchback Corvette Ken still wishes he owned. A past chair of the Greater Toledo Convention and Visitors Bureau, Ken's been a member of Kiwanis for 33 years and has served as president of Highland Meadows Golf Club. Now in his 8th decade, Ken divides his time between a home in Naples and another at Devil's Lake. But he's still working every day looking for that next opportunity. The real estate magnate is the father of 5 adult children: Tamara, a CPA who is the accountant for McLaren Management, Margaret, Casey, Leah, and Ellie. He's built a successful real estate empire after an award-winning career in education. Kenneth Mclaren is the Judith Herb College of Education's outstanding graduate this year.
Ken Mclaren. Ken, congratulations to you. The College of Law is led by Dean Barros. Unfortunately, their award recipient was not able to be with us tonight, but we would like to have you meet him, Mr. John Starcher Jr.
John Starcher Jr. is the face of Bon Secours Mercy Health. The College of Law's distinguished alumnus for 2018 is president and CEO of the Catholic Healthcare System, which has more than 57,000 employees in Ohio, Kentucky, Maryland, Virginia, South Carolina, Florida, and New York. The 2000 law grad, who was a night student, leads one of the largest healthcare systems in the country, with 43 hospitals and more than 1,000 sites of care. It has net operating revenue of more than $8 billion. John oversaw the combination of Bon Secours and Mercy Health earlier this year. Before becoming CEO of Mercy Health, John served as president and CEO of Health Management Associates, an acute care delivery system with 71 hospitals across 15 states. Before joining HMA, Johnny Bench's buddy served as the CEO of 3 of Mercy Health's 4 divisions. Fuzzy Zeller's friend earned an undergraduate degree in business from Bowling Green in 1993. John and his wife of 22 years, Erin, have a daughter, Reagan. The College of Law's distinguished alumnus in 2018, John Starcher Jr.
Congratulations to John. We move now to the College of Medicine and Life Sciences under the direction of Dean Chris Cooper. Their award recipient, listen to this story, Dr. David Barton.
It's science time with Dr. David Barton, the College of Medicine and Life Sciences distinguished alumnus for 2018. Now, you may know that viruses are considered strict intracellular parasites. They can only grow inside cells. Cell-free virus replication methods defy this conventional wisdom, providing conditions wherein viruses such as the polio virus can be grown in test tubes absent cells. Professor of Immunology and Microbiology in the University of Colorado School of Medicine and a faculty member in UC's Cancer Center, it was Dave who pioneered for the entire world the use of cell-free virus replication methods aimed at polio eradication. Dave's cell-free virus replication methods are important because they resemble the primordial RNA world, with RNA organisms being the first to populate Earth, before proteins, before DNA, before cells. His practical discovery informs and identifies obstacles to polio eradication and has opened new possibilities in the development of antiviral drugs for a variety of viruses and infectious diseases. Here's the most important thing you need to know. Dr. David Barton, a 1989 UT College of Medicine and Life Sciences PhD graduate, is one of the top molecular biologists in the world. His groundbreaking research allows the science world to focus on fundamental aspects of human health, such as infectious diseases, immunity, and cancer, in addition to polio. Our thinker grew up on a farm in Curtis, Ohio, where he was exposed to all kinds of biology. The second of 3 boys born to a pair of educators, Dad Pat had 2 degrees from UT and Mom Corrine 1 from Bowling Green. The Barton boys all completed graduate degrees. Kevin earned his medical degree at Ohio State, and Chris is a UT law grad. Not one to blow his own horn unless it's a trombone, Dave went to Cardinal Stritch High School in Oregon, where he graduated in 1980. 3 days before Dave's grandmother, Gertrude Davis, attended his Stritch commencement, something very important happened. Dave started dating a soon-to-be fellow grad, Amy Gossick. They have now been married 33 years. Dave joins his wife, Dr. Amy Barton, in receiving one of UT's top awards. Amy, a 1984 and 1990 alumna who is professor, Daniel and Janet Mordecai Endowed Chair in Rural Health Nursing, and Associate Dean for Clinical and Community Affairs in Colorado's College of Nursing, was the College of Health and Human Services Distinguished Graduate in 2005. Amy and Dave have 2 sons. Patrick graduated from Ohio State earlier this year and is an athletic trainer in West Palm Beach, Florida, while Dan is a senior biosystems engineering student focusing on water reclamation at the University of Kentucky. It was at what was then the Medical College of Ohio that the 1984 Ohio State microbiology undergrad saw his career blossom in virology, the study of viruses. He says that faculty members, his mentors, Stan and Thea Sawicki, are responsible for much of his success, finding their passion for science, truth, and students, something he tries to live by and impart each day. Recipient of the Graduate School Dean's Award and class spokesman in Toledo, Dave spent 7 years doing postgraduate research at the University of Florida before joining the faculty at Colorado, where his research led to a delectable global discovery that has provided tasty promise for the scientific medical community. In recognition of his groundbreaking work and its impact on our world, the College of Medicine and Life Sciences is proud to present Dr. David Barton as its outstanding graduate in the year 2018.
David, thank you very, very much. And you know what I love about working with these award recipients? These are like amazing, amazing people, and they're so humble. That is what's so cool about having the opportunity to work with them. And I think maybe that's that old Toledo foundation that's been a part of their lives for so long. We move now to the College of Natural Science and Mathematics. Karen Bjorkman is the dean of that college. And folks, we have a true rocket scientist to present to you this evening. Mr. Fred Espenak.
30 seconds. 25. Corona.
It's an awe-inspiring wonder, and no one anywhere knows more about eclipses than 2018 College of Natural Sciences distinguished alumnus Fred Espenak. Known simply as Mr. Eclipse, this 1976 astrophysics master's degree holder, a retired astronomer for NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center, is the world's leading authority as the moon, earth, and sun align. During the great total eclipse of 2017, which crossed the United States, Fred was a national celebrity, appearing on television shows and in every major newspaper in the country.
Just before totality, the sky starts getting dark, and you get one bright bead on the edge of the sun's disk that's called the diamond ring effect.
If you didn't see Fred sparkling on television, you might recognize his talents, which were put on display by the United States Postal Service. To commemorate the eclipse, the Postal Service issued a special thermochromic postage stamp featuring 2 of Fred's photos. This first-of-its-kind stamp was heat-sensitive, transforming the image of an eclipse into the image of the full moon, simply from the heat of one's finger. 60 million of the 16 stamped sheets were produced. Fred grew up along with his late sister Nancy on Staten Island in New York. Dave and Michael's friend went on to earn his bachelor's in physics from Wagner University in 1974 and came to UT upon the recommendation of the chair of Wagner's physics department, who was also a Toledo alumnus. Ritter Planetarium and astronomy professor Bernie Bopp helped craft Fred's favorite UT memories, as he was able to take the spectra of stars, graphs of the amount of light given off by stars as seen from Earth. Following his graduation, Fred was hired by NASA's Goddard Center, where he developed and used infrared spectrometers to probe the atmospheres of the planets. His research included monitoring ozone in Mars's atmosphere, detecting and measuring winds on Venus, Mars, and Titan, and measuring hydrocarbons in the stratospheres of Jupiter and Saturn. He also worked on the Space Shuttle Discovery, co-investigator of an instrument that flew in the cargo bay. But it was when he became NASA's expert on solar and lunar eclipse predictions that Fred got his nickname. He wrote over a dozen NASA eclipse bulletins and created the official NASA Eclipse website. Fred became enamored with eclipses when, as a high school student in 1970, he traveled 600 miles to North Carolina to witness and photograph a total solar eclipse. He has since observed solar eclipses from all 7 continents. On his way to Antarctica, he stopped on the island of South Georgia, where he met a flightless bird believed related to the Bowling Green Falcon. His personal life took flight while leading an eclipse trip to India in 1995. One of the people who paid to go on Fred's trip was Patricia Totten. They wed in 2006 and had traveled to over a dozen total eclipses together. Still to come, eclipses in Chile and Argentina, and a full total eclipse that will cut directly across Toledo in April of 2024. Fred retired from NASA in 2009. He moved to southern Arizona, a town called Portal, and began construction on the first of 2 astronomical observatories. The astronomer's home is 60 miles away from the nearest grocery store, a place where there is total darkness. Here's a view of the Milky Way as seen from one of the Umbraphiles, that's a lover of shadows, observatories. And how about this? Valerie and Maggie's grandpa, who has witnessed 29 total solar eclipses, is so famous that he has a planet named in his honor. In 2003, the International Astronomical Union recognized Fred's impact on this planet by designating minor planet 14120 as Espenak. His planet is in orbit between Mars and Jupiter and takes 3.7 years to make a full orbital rotation, traveling 250 million miles during that time. In 2018, Mr. Eclipse, Fred Espenak, received something else which bears his name. He's the College of Natural Science and Mathematics Outstanding Alumnus.
Now, I think I know what everybody's going to be doing in 2024. You're going to be coming back to Toledo if you're from out of town so that you can see the eclipse come around one more time. And knowing Fred, he'll be glad to provide you some information while you're back here in the Toledo area. Some amazing, amazing award recipients. We move now to our College of Nursing with another amazing award recipient. Dr. Cynthia Nadek, the Dean of the College of Nursing, is Linda Lewandowski.
The College of Nursing's Outstanding Alumna is one of our country's luminaries in developing volunteer nursing leaders and professional specialty nursing organizations. Dr. Cynthia Natick of West Hampton, New Jersey, spent the past 23 years as Vice President of Organizational Development for Anthony J. Giannetti, an association management company. In that role, our recently retired award winner served as the Chief Executive Officer of several major nursing organizations, including the Academy of Medical Surgical Nurses, which alone has more than 11,000 members, the American Academy of Ambulatory Care Nursing, the National Association of Orthopedic Nurses, and the Medical Surgical Nursing Certification Board. Despite the years, no Mickey Mouse organizations are these, with annual budgets upward of $2 million each. The 1979 graduate of the Judith Herb College of Education and 1986 Masters in Nursing alumna also developed a mentoring program for new volunteer board leaders as part of her PhD dissertation at Nova Southeastern University, and published 2 editions of a book which has been used by nursing organizations throughout America. Harv's wife, the former Cindy Nowicki, is a fellow in the American Academy of Nursing. She is one of only 2,400 registered nurses in America who have been selected to receive this designation. To put that into perspective, there are 3.7 million registered nurses in our country. If you're getting the idea that Cindy's impact on nursing in the USA is as impressive as her Kentucky Derby hat, you'd be right. Cindy was an only child raised by a single mother. From the time she was a little girl, daughter heard mom say repeatedly that she wished she had become a nurse rather than a hairdresser. Hyacinth, who passed away in 2000, was the most influential person in Cynthia's life. The power of mom's words and the fact that pink was her favorite color rubbed off on Cindy. She became a nurse, and pink is still her favorite color. The 1970 Woodward High School graduate earned a diploma in nursing from St. Vincent Medical Center's School of Nursing in 1973 and worked for St. V's in nursing for over 14 years. After finishing her master's at UT, Cindy moved to Nashville in Vanderbilt University Medical Center's burn unit, where she discovered, after serving as president of the American Society of Plastic Surgical Nurses and developing the first core curriculum that defined the body of knowledge for that specialty, that her passion was in staff education and not the clinical side of nursing. So the Elvis fan packed up her poodle skirt and moved to Lakeland, Florida to begin work on her doctorate in adult education, which she completed at Nova Southeastern in 1996. She was then hired by Anthony Giannetti, where she worked with volunteer boards and managed staff for some of the biggest nonprofit nursing organizations in the country. At the same time, she also led the development of new certification programs and incorporation of the Dermatology Nursing Certification Board and the Medical Surgical Nursing Certification Board. In winning this award, Cindy joins her husband, a volunteer and association junkie who served as president of the National Society of Professional Engineers in 2014-15, in being honored by their alma mater. Val's son was named an Alumni Award Winner of Merit by the University of Pennsylvania. When Cindy turned 50, she was convinced she would remain single for the rest of her life. That was until she met Harv through online dating. Cindy and the vice president of MEDA, an engineering firm in Pennsylvania, wed in 2005. Cindy's new expanded family includes daughter Catherine Gow, son-in-law Sean, grandchildren Lauren and Ryan, and granddog Henry. She's a national leader in the nursing management and education field. Dr. Cindy Natick is the College of Nursing's 2018 Distinguished Graduate.
Cindy, thank you very, very much, and congratulations to you. The College of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences is being led by Interim Dean Amanda Bryant Friedrich. Their award recipient this year, he's a familiar face here in this area, Dr. John Clark.
7 years. Now that may seem like a long time, but that's all it's taken for Dr. John Clark to be selected to receive the 2 top honors in the College of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences. The 2018 recipient of Pharmacy's Distinguished Alumni Award was named the college's Outstanding Young Alum in 2011. But as Caroline, Brady, Bryce, and Claire's dad will gladly tell you, it's been even longer than that since Bowling Green beat the Rockets in football, 2009 to be exact. Angie's husband has seen his career blossom since completing his bachelor's in pharmacy at UT in 1998 and his doctor of pharmacy here 2 years later. After earning his PhD, John went back for his master's in health system pharmacy administration at the University of Wisconsin. The Canton, Ohio native spent 5 years as a clinical assistant professor at the University of Maryland before his family moved closer to home when he became associate director of pharmacy at the University of Michigan Hospitals and Health Centers. Since arriving at U of M in 2007, Caroline's daddy has been promoted twice, first to Director of Pharmacy Services for U of M Hospitals and Health Centers, and then last year when he was named Associate Chief Pharmacy Officer for all of Michigan Medicine. The man behind the mask with his twins Bryce and Claire now oversees all of U of M's pharmacy operations, which includes a 50-mile footprint in southeastern Michigan, 450 employees, and a $480 million annual operating budget. John's come a long way since his dad Steve told his ball-playing son, you can either go to UT and graduate with no debt, or go to Ohio Northern, play baseball, and graduate with $100,000 in debt. The most valuable player at the Milwaukee Brewers fantasy camp hit it out of the park at Toledo, getting involved with Kappa Psi, Blue Key, Mortarboard, Pharmacy Student Council, Student Senate, and becoming a founding member of the Rocket Fanatics. Impacted by the likes of former deans Norm Bellows and Johnny Early, professors Kurt Black, Chuck Hicks, Mark Nolinger, and Bob Schlembach, and Deputy Athletic Director Dave Notke, whom John worked with to get more students to athletic events, John loved his time at UT. Jim's brother fell in love here too. Angie De Kado was a pharmacy student who expressed an interest in getting involved with the college, so John, who was chairing a pharmacy student council meeting, invited her to attend and then had her sit in the front row. She's had a front row seat ever since. The now Dr. Angie Clark finished her bachelor's at Toledo in 2000 and her doctor of pharmacy in 2002. Stan and Sue's daughter-in-law also works at U of M, where she is a clinical pharmacy specialist in cardiac surgery and the intensive care unit. Named a Fellow of the American Society of Health System Pharmacists in 2012 in recognition for his contributions to pharmacy practice in hospitals and health systems, an honor that goes to only 20 or so people nationally each year, John was presented that award by his boss at Michigan, Stan Kent. A clinical associate professor in U of M's College of Pharmacy, Brian DeBenedictis, and Matt Nagel's former UT roommate, is also an accreditation surveyor for the American Society of Health System Pharmacists. John's travels have taken him to places like the Mayo Clinic, the University of Rochester, Yale New Haven Medical Center, and the University of Pennsylvania, where he ensures that their patients are getting the best pharmaceutical care. He's been providing the best in care since graduating from UT 18 years ago. Dr. John Clark is the College of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences choice for its Distinguished Graduate Award.
Presenting the award to John is Interim Dean Friedrich and former Dean Johnny Early. John, thank you very, very much. We move now to the Jessup Scott Honors College. Its dean is Heidi Apple. Our next award recipient, it's very possible when you go home tonight, you may find one of his books on your bookshelf.
The Jessup Scott Honors College has landed a beauty in the literary world for the James K. Larson Distinguished Achievement Award in 2018. Craig Holden, a 1983 Arts and Sciences honors grad, is a novelist based in Las Cruces, New Mexico, whose works generate six-figure advances. His book, The River Sorrow, has been translated and sold in 13 foreign markets. Four Corners of Night was on the USA Today bestseller list. The Jazzbird was nominated for the National Book Award, and his Motala was just re-optioned for a streaming television series. In all, this little guy has written 6 books with a 7th on the way. In the United States alone, he has sold more than 500,000 copies. In Japan and France, he's a bestseller too. Bethan Scott's older brother grew up with his siblings in Toledo, first earned at Vilbus High School and later in Adams Township. The 1977 Rogers High School graduate ran cross country and was the homecoming and prom king. Carolyn and Fred's son was recruited by a number of schools, but came to Toledo because of the efforts of Jim Larson, the director of UT's honors program, for whom this award is named. Larson helped the budding writer develop an academic track which gave him lots of latitude and featured year-long courses in great books and art. Craig spent his junior year at Durham University in England and went on to complete a master's in fiction at the University of Montana in 1986. Soon, the graduate of Radcliffe College's Harvard Publishing course landed in New York City, where he typed and filed and read manuscripts for well-known literary agent Theron Raines, who represented James Dickey, the author of Deliverance, and Winston Groom, who penned Forrest Gump. It was Raines who taught Craig to read and negotiate contracts, which led to a job with Sobel Weber Associates, where our award winner eventually became their foreign and film rights agent. He sold the rights to a Richard Russo book to Paramount Studios. That novel became Nobody's Fool, starring Paul Newman, Bruce Willis, and Jessica Tandy. He also contracted Normal Life, which would star Luke Perry and Ashley Judd. All this time he was writing, looking for his break, and spending time with his family, which would grow to include Alexander, Emma Lynn, Stuart, and Arabella. Eventually he landed an agent he met at the Radcliffe course who got him signed by Delacorte Press and later Simon & Schuster. The novelist finally had a vehicle for his works. With guaranteed publishing income dwindling, New Mexico State University hired Craig in 2007 as its visiting writer in the creative writing program. He's still there as professor of English and director of corporate and foundation relations, but not for long. Craig has just been hired as the managing director of development at Texas Tech University's Health Science Center in El Paso. And of course, Eleanor and younger brother Jameson's grandpa is working on his next novel. Read all about it. Novelist Craig Holden is the James K. Larson Distinguished Achievement Award recipient for 2018 in the Jessup Scott Honors College.
Craig Holden. When you get home, check your bookshelves. Our final college award recipient comes from a university college. The college is led by Dean Barbara Kopp Miller. Their award recipient this year, doing amazing things on behalf of our country, Colonel Jonathan Beasley.
The Marine Corps' loss was the Army's gain when it came to Jonathan Beasley, University College's choice to receive its 2018 Outstanding Alumnus Award. John was a junior at Bedford High School in 1988, fully planning to join the Marines, when he went to meet with a Corps representative at a military recruiting station. Only problem was the Marine was out to lunch. Not so the Army representative, who quickly swooped in and sealed the deal. The irony of it all is that today, Colonel Jonathan Beasley of the United States Army is now helping the Marine Corps as one of our country's highest-ranking military officers. John is Deputy Chief of Staff of the Joint Improvised Threat Defeat Organization. His group, based at Fort Belvoir in Virginia, is focused on providing training and equipment to help defeat improvised threats, IEDs and drones, used by violent extremist organizations such as ISIS. Although he is a member of the Army, John is responsible for the health and welfare of 1,500 people in all branches of the military, including government, civilians, and contractors. More than 1/4 of his division's personnel are deployed worldwide. To put his rank and responsibilities in perspective, the colonel reports to a 2-star general, the chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who reports directly to Secretary of Defense James Mattis. Pretty amazing, and that his career progression began back when he was playing ROTC flag football at the Glass Bowl and then continued with several highlights back on campus. About 4 years after John had his picture taken with Grandpa Warren Brock in his hometown of Lambertville, Michigan, he made the decision to enter the military, enthralled by stories of World War II from another grandfather. John was going to go directly into service, but his mom Kathy, here with John's brother Justin, said, "No, you're going to college too." So the man who married Petersburg, Michigan's Robin Wright in 1995 joined the National Guard and became a full-time UT student and later a full-time ROTC student. The now father of 4 boys, Jacob, Jared, Joel, and Andrew, earned a degree in individualized studies from U College in 1994, where he was a distinguished military graduate. The University of Toledo is the major thread that makes up the fabric of John's career. The 2005 Louisiana State University Master's alumnus returned to his undergraduate alma mater from 2009 to 2012, when he served as the commander of ROTC and professor of military science and leadership. 3 of John's big promotions took place on UT's campus: second lieutenant in 1994, lieutenant colonel in 2011, and then to the rank of colonel 5 years later. John has performed 3 tours of duty in Afghanistan and 1 in Iraq. He was in Afghanistan for 90 days in 2004 as part of the 2nd Ranger Battalion. He returned there in 2009, part of a unit of 5,000 which lost 86 soldiers and had 400 wounded. His military decorations include the Ranger Tab, Combat Infantryman's Badge, Expert Infantryman's Badge, and Senior Parachutist and Air Assault Badges. And now another honor. For serving his country and his alma mater with great distinction, Colonel Jonathan Beasley as University College's Distinguished Graduate for 2018.
Colonel Jonathan Beasley, everyone. He's helping to keep our world a safer place to live. Thank you very, very much. And I want to thank all of our veterans out there. I bet you we have a whole lot of them in our audience tonight. Thank you for serving your country. Well, you've met all of the college awardees. We have 3 more honors to present tonight. The top awards given out by your University of Toledo Alumni Association. These awards are the Edward H. Schmidt Outstanding Young Alum Award, the Blue Tea, and the Gold Tea Award. The Edward H. Schmidt Outstanding Young Alum has been presented since 1995 to a graduate 40 years of age or younger in recognition of career and community accomplishment. When you're at the game tomorrow, and I know you're going to want to see the Rockets win for the 9th consecutive year, you're going to want to make sure that you stop by the William and Carol Kester Alumni Pavilion, because these 3 individuals have their name on the outside wall of that building. So I do hope that you stop over there sometime prior to kickoff tomorrow. And I'm especially pleased to tell you tonight that William and Carol Kester, the folks whose names appear on the Alumni Pavilion, are with us tonight. Bill and Carol, thank you so much for all you've done for our alma mater. Thank you very much. The Edward H. Schmidt Outstanding Young Alum Award recipient, Dr. Mallory Ladd.
Dr. Mallory Ladd was hot stuff as an undergraduate chemistry major at the University of Toledo. The 2011 Natural Sciences and Mathematics and Jessup Scott Honors College alumna, who's the Edward H. Schmidt Outstanding Young Alum for 2018, continues to blaze new trails as a research scientist in one of the coldest parts of the world. In just 7 years since leaving Toledo, the newly minted University of Tennessee PhD, who has been working at the Oak Ridge National Laboratory, has made her mark internationally by developing and implementing molecular approaches to assess interacting effects of soil biogeochemistry and climate change in Arctic ecosystems. In lay terms, Mallory has developed mass spectrometry tools to measure the chemistry of soils in the Arctic, an area our award winner says is the tipping point for climate change. As ice melts, dark carbon-rich soil is exposed to the environment. The carbon is then released as harmful methane gas and carbon dioxide. A panelist at the Lindau Nobel Laureate meeting in Germany, where Mallory was able to rub shoulders with the likes of Nobel laureates Elizabeth Blackburn and Stephen Chu, this young UT alumnus work has caught the eye of the federally funded Center for Naval Analysis in Washington, D.C. That think tank just hired her to continue her research and develop policy that reduces uncertainty in climate modeling predictions for the United States Navy. To predict that Zach and Ken's sister would come to Toledo from their home in the Chicago suburb of Crystal Lake, Illinois is a bit of a stretch. But the daughter of Michael, a home builder, and Kelly, a healthcare administrator, wanted a school that could offer two things: top-shelf chemistry and volleyball programs. Recruited by a number of schools for her academic and athletic prowess, which saw her participate in the Junior Olympic Championships, Mallory was offered a full-ride athletic scholarship to UT as a setter in her sport. What sealed the deal, though, were the efforts of UT chemistry professor Dr. Andy Jorgensen, who first recruited her for academics as a high school junior. Here, Jingshu Gu's friend won the American Chemical Society's Undergraduate Analytical Chemistry Award and was mentored by 2014 Gold Tee recipient Dr. Kenneth Mclaren, then the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, who was the driving force behind our country's Clean Water Act. UT's also where Mallory fell in love, meeting Tony Bova through the Student American Chemical Society organization. A 2013 UT grad, Tony is in Tennessee's PhD chemistry program and founded a company that is developing plastics, not from oil, but from certain components of trees. The couple plans to marry in 2020. When she's not trying to help save our planet, Mallory passionately spends time teaching kids about science, especially young girls, to let them know that there are scientists who look just like them. She did her homework at UT, and now she's a big fish in a short period of time in the chemical research world. Dr. Mallory Ladd is the University of Toledo Alumni Association's Edward H. Schmidt Outstanding Young Alum in 2018.
Mallory, we want to come back this way. You do want to hear from Dr. Mallory Ladd, don't you? I sure do. Dr. Mallory Ladd.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This is such an honor. Thank you to Nina McClelland for nominating me and for being such a great mentor over the years. As a fellow woman in chemistry, you've been a guiding force, and all of your advice has been so important to me. Thank you so much. Thank you to the Alumni Association for organizing all these great events this week, to Dan for making these awesome videos, President Gaber, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here back in Toledo after spending a few years at graduate school in Knoxville. My parents and I have been driving around all day, remembering all of my times here at the university, so that's been really fun. I have so many great memories. While this award recognizes our achievements as alumni, it reminds me that the University of Toledo is what laid the foundation for these achievements. I came to Toledo in 2006 on a volleyball scholarship, but it was the chemistry program that sealed the deal when I was deciding on which university to attend. The impressive breadth of research, the fact that they encourage students to use the instrumentation on their own, and if any of you know Dr. Andy Jorgensen, you know how convincing of a guy he can be. Once I got here, beyond the leadership and time management skills I gained as a student athlete, there were so many other opportunities that UT offered me as well, and put me on the career path I'm pursuing today. Some of my most memorable moments are, of course, from the chemistry department, not only the classes, like my first ever chemistry lab with Brenda Snyder, but also all the time I spent with the student affiliates of the American Chemical Society, led by Edith Kippenhan. That's also where I met my fiance, Tony Bova. In addition to the lab courses, some of my favorite classes were the ones I took in the Honors College. One class required we attend 10 enrichment activities throughout the city and write an essay on them. So I wrote about the history of the Toledo Zoo, the Glass Museum, and one of the most memorable events, a showing of the movie Dirt, which talked about the importance of soil in improving agricultural practices and better understanding of climate change. While attending this movie, I met Mike Weintraub from the Environmental Sciences Department, and he was looking for a field technician to send up to a remote field station in the Alaskan Arctic. I was graduating and I wasn't sure about grad school yet, so I said, why not? It was there that I fell in love with climate science research and continued on that path heading into graduate school. Throughout all the challenging classes, exams, late night studying in Carlson, tough bus rides home after a loss at an away game, my parents who are here tonight, and my grandma who's watching on live stream. Hi, Graham. They were there through it all as my biggest supporters. Thank you so much. There are so many people who have helped me on this path that I want to thank, and I wish I could. Toledo gave me more than just a professional network of colleagues, but an expanded family. I'm so proud to be a Rocket alum. Thank you so much. Go Rockets!
Mallory, congratulations. I mean, folks, stop and think about it. She graduated 7 years ago. She is now a panelist with Nobel laureates. That tells you the impact in 7 years that that young lady is having on our world. Pretty amazing stuff. Our next award recipient is the recipient of the Blue Tea Award. He's an amazing human being. I'm proud to call him a friend, Dr. Tom Wakefield.
He's known at the University of Michigan as Toledo Tom, and now Dr. Tom Wakefield has a new title, University of Toledo Alumni Association Blue Tea Award winner. Tom joins the ranks of distinguished recipients who have received this honor in recognition of their support of the university and its alumni association. The James C. Stanley Professor of Surgery, Section Head of Vascular Surgery, and Director of the Frankel Cardiovascular Center at U of M, Tom is passionately devoted to his family, his faith, his work, and his alma mater. His involvement with the university is exemplary. Tom served as president of the Alumni Association during the 2014-15 school year. This pillar of the university has a pillar in the Kester Alumni Pavilion in memory of his parents, Bill and Doris. The head football coach's office in the Larimer Center is named after Tom, as is the director of basketball operations office in Savage Arena. He's a major donor to the College of Medicine and Life Sciences, as well as the Eberly Center for Women. Time, talent, and treasure, Tom gives it all. It's his way of paying back all the university has given to him. Doris's dapper guy in the fedora and his sister Kathy were raised in a devout Catholic Toledo home. Bill's son harbored thoughts of becoming a member of the Detroit Tigers someday. Let's just say that that idea was pitched when Tom realized he wasn't very good. As a student at St. John's Jesuit High School, Tom was able to work at the new Medical College of Ohio, now UT's College of Medicine and Life Sciences, where he won a major award related to his project, which was helping to devise a new nomenclature system for the atrial arteries, the arteries on top of the heart. Tom's heart was filled as a UT student when he met Mary Reese while in line to change his schedule. She changed his life. They've been together since 1973 and were married in 1977 at Jesu Church with 4 Jesuit priests and a hospital chaplain in attendance. Mary graduated in 1976 and Marge's daughter completed a master's in physical therapy at Northwestern 1 year later. They have 2 sons, Andrew, a Michigan law grad who was ordained a Catholic priest on the couple's 40th wedding anniversary last year, and Victor, a Princeton grad who works for Teach for America. He is engaged to Rachel Nichols. In addition to family, one of Tom's other loves is Rockets football and basketball. He followed the unbeaten Rockets of the late 60s and early 70s, as well as the Bob Nichols coached roundball squads. Needless to say, Tom was probably the only U of M employee smiling when Toledo beat Michigan in 2008. Thanks to the head of the honors program, Jim Larson, Mr. Blue Tea completed his pre-med degree on main campus in 1975, and under the mentorship of Liberato Didio, his medical degree on what is now our health science campus 3 years later. It's imperative to note that this 2-time grad who worked alongside former UT president and surgeon Lloyd Jacobs at Michigan is a giant in the world of vascular research and surgery. He is one of the first in the world to study the interaction between inflammation and clotting, and is working on new drugs to prevent and treat a significant global problem called thromboembolism, blood clots in the legs and lung. The new drugs target a specific part of the inflammatory mechanism rather than the clotting mechanism that all other drugs target, and as such have less risk of bleeding but are as effective as current therapies. Chosen as the College of Medicine's Outstanding Graduate in 2012, Tom was honored by the Venous Disease Coalition, a collaborative network of 44 international professional and public organizations, with its Venous Research Award that same year. Earlier this year in Melbourne, Australia, Tom was presented the International Union of Phlebology Award of Excellence for basic science research in phlebology at the World Congress. In his career, Vince Walsh's buddy from high school has been awarded nearly $26 million in funded research grants. He's the complete package, a wonderful human being who has devoted his life to his family, his church, his work, and his beloved alma mater. Dr. Tom Wakefield is the Blue Tea Award recipient for the year 2018.
Well, Dan, President Bliley, and President Gaber, I am so thankful to the UT Alumni Association for this award, the Blue Tea Award. To start, I want to thank my family and friends for coming to share this award with me tonight. I feel fortunate to have attended the University of Toledo, followed by the Medical College of Ohio, and my entire professional career hinges on UT and MCO. I also want to thank St. John's High School for giving me a Jesuit education, which taught me at an early age to be a man for others. At UT, I was fortunate to have great mentors, none more important than James Larson, who was the head of the new honors program at that time, and Jim Stebbins, who was my undergraduate advisor. As you heard, during my undergraduate years, I had the great fortune to work for and with Liberato J.A. DiDio, the chairman of anatomy, and the first faculty hired for the new Medical College of Ohio at Toledo, as it was first called. When I attended medical school here, Robert Navarre, the first vascular surgeon in Toledo, was an inspiration to me. I initially wanted to be like him, and then subsequently I wanted to do what he did. Thus, vascular surgery was in my blood. I've had many great mentors at the University of Michigan, and I've been fortunate to have been at Michigan now for over 40 years and to lead vascular surgery and co-direct the Franco Cardiovascular Center. From the beginning, I had it good. My wonderful parents sent me to school and paid for my tuition so that when I finished medical school, supplemented with a Phi Kappa Phi scholarship, I had no debt. This is virtually unheard of today. My dear mom and dad were incredibly supportive to me and my sister Kathy, who's here, and my Uncle Vic also was totally supportive. And most importantly, at UT, I met my wife Mary and her wonderful family. My mother-in-law Marge is here tonight. And we have now been married 41 years and have two incredible boys who have become great young men, Andrew and Victor. Mary will be here with us tomorrow at the football game. Andrew is here in spirit, and Victor flew in from Baltimore today to be here, so thank you. When it came time to picking a college, the University of Toledo was my first and only choice. I was a rocket from the time I was in Arlington grade school. My dad took me virtually to every football and basketball game at UT as I was growing up, and we saw every home game and many of the away games during the 35-0 unbeaten football streak from 69 to 71, and that great 23-2 basketball team in 66 and 67. I remember my dad and I would stand outside the old field house to get in because tickets were so hard to come by, and every game that year was a sellout. And most importantly, I knew that I would be able to obtain a high-quality education while staying in my hometown. And I did. Today, the University of Toledo is one of America's great universities, and every year, as we hear the amazing stories of the award winners, it is clear that the products of this university are a testament to the education that UT provides. The University of Toledo is a gem and is key to the future of Toledo and this entire region. UT is our university, and the UT Alumni Association is our association. My year as the UT Alumni President was a special time for me indeed. I have won many awards over the years in my field, but none more important to me than this award tonight. So just think of what UT means to me. I am a first-generation college student, and my UT education was the launchpad to my entire career. It gave me an opportunity to be my best self. This is what UT does. This is what UT is all about. And this is why I am so proud to be a Toledo Rocket. So may I please say, go Rockets, and beat that team from down south tomorrow. Thank you.
Dr. Tom Wakefield. Many important words. Those last words that Tom uttered, I think, say an awful lot about the impact the university has had on his life. It's wonderful to hear. Thank you, Tom. Our final award recipient this year is our Gold T Award recipient. She is a true pioneer. This award is given in recognition of career accomplishment, and the Honorable Betty Montgomery has had an amazing career.
It's been said that there are those who lead and those who follow. There is no question where you'll find Betty Montgomery, the University of Toledo Alumni Association's Gold T recipient in 2018. Not only is the 1976 College of Law alumna a leader who has stood alongside numerous presidents like Ronald Reagan, she's a pioneer. In 1995, Betty became the first woman to serve as Attorney General in the state of Ohio. She served a 4-year term and then was re-elected for another 4 years. In 2003, during the era of George W. Bush, she ran for auditor of the state of Ohio. Again, she was a trendsetter, becoming the first woman to hold that 4-year title in the more than 200-year history of the Buckeye State. Before those positions, Charles and Betty's daughter and Elizabeth Criswell's granddaughter spent 7 years as a state senator for District 2, covering Ottawa, Wood, and parts of Lucas and Erie counties. Betty got into politics in 1981 at the behest of former Ohio Speaker of the House Charles Kerfis, becoming Wood County's prosecuting attorney for 8 years, during which time she was, not surprisingly, the only woman prosecuting attorney in Ohio. Not only did the friend of late Toledo Mayor Jack Ford break new ground, she made things happen. It was Joanne's twin sister who drafted Ohio's first living will law, which allows residents to make health care decisions in advance in the event of terminal illness or permanent unconsciousness. It was our awardee who drafted Ohio's first brownfields legislation, which allowed the state to take land which had been polluted for decades and clean it up for redevelopment and sale, whereby the purchaser would incur no liability. As Attorney General, Betty rebuilt all of Ohio's crime labs, introduced DNA testing, and brought 21st century technology to the state. She also dramatically increased state support for local law enforcement. As AG, she was recognized in Washington for excellence in service and advocacy in many areas, including legal work before the United States Supreme Court, when Ohio successfully argued for the use of school vouchers, even if the vouchers could be used for private religious schools. Her consumer protection section was recognized as the most outstanding consumer protection agency in the country by the National Association of Consumer Agency Administrators. It was pretty clear back in 1965 that a young Voice of Democracy contest winner from Fremont was going to be something special. With parents who were in sales, Betty and Joanne lived in Pennsylvania, Fremont, and Columbus in their formative years. Betty knew that when she was in first grade that she wanted a doctorate, a credibility degree, feeling strongly at that age about goal setting. Her mom, grandmother, and sister saw her graduate from Bowling Green State University in 1970 with a degree in arts and English. She worked 2 years as a substitute teacher and a waitress after graduation before her mom said, "Honey, you've got to make a choice." So it was off to UT and law school, where she knew before graduation she wanted to become a prosecutor, never thinking that one day she would swear in soon-to-be Governor Nancy Hollister. Now president of Montgomery Consulting Group and an attorney with McMurray & Schuster in Columbus, Betty is a member of the Board of Trustees at her undergraduate alma mater, BGSU. She is also a member of the State Medical Board. Her awards are many, including inclusion in the Ohio Women's Hall of Fame. She has also received the Outstanding Public Service Award from Ohio State University's John Glenn School of Public Affairs. Simply put, the Honorable Betty Montgomery is a trailblazer. For a lifetime of public service leadership and serving as a role model to others, the University of Toledo Alumni Association is honored to present to her its prestigious Gold T Award in 2018.
Well, it's something, first of all, being the last to speak, you're probably grateful, as am I. I want to thank the President Gabber, the Alumni Association, the distinguished awardees who make us all feel like slugs when we walk out the room because they've done such wonderful things, and the honored guests that are here tonight. Thank you so much for this honor. I certainly didn't expect it, and frankly, given the fact that I've spent much of my life as an elected official, I am sure somebody out there is going to ask for a recount on that award. You know, I'm here tonight with my twin sister, Joanne. I'm very fortunate, and I know that she will echo this. We were raised in a family that set standards and not limits. We were blessed to be surrounded by encouragement and love. And we were blessed to have a family that taught us the strong moral values and insisted, yes, insisted, that we set goals, work hard, never give up, and always try to think positively. We were literally required to read books on positive thinking. And we were always talked to about trying to reach our full potential. My family firmly believed, my mother, my strong grandparents, my strong grandmothers, that a woman was never limited by her gender. And we caught that lesson very young. I'm here because of that family education, and I am here because of the education I got here at the University of Toledo. I'm here without a doubt because of the stern but very kind instruction and understanding of former Dean Stepler. I am here because of the steady, reliable, and very patient teaching and instruction by Professor Friedman. And I am here because the University of Toledo afforded this poor night student who worked full-time during the day a quality education. I'm here because the University of Toledo gave me, besides numerous parking tickets for arriving late after working full-time during the day, a wonderful education and a wonderful opportunity. Gave me a gold key to opportunity, gave me a gold key to life beyond and lifelong learning, gave me a gold key to fulfill my life's ambition to be a public servant. The University of Toledo fulfilled an educational institution's highest mission. It gave this graduate and those graduates out there the tools and opened the doors to opportunity and knowledge. For that and for this honor, I am extremely grateful. I would close by saying I would be remiss if I didn't also thank not only my professors and my classmates who often encouraged and many times put the fear of God in me as I was sitting outside waiting for law exams to begin or were over. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge another University of Toledo graduate who won many awards and also whose GPA was far bigger than mine, I'm sure, who is a law partner and a friend and was my consumer chief when I was Attorney General. And Helen McMurray has given me a life after elected office, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that she and Larry are here with me, and I am grateful for the experience I've had in the private sector since then. So as I close, I want to thank the University of Toledo, which has opened minds and inspired its graduates to realize our dreams. This institution continues to change lives and continues to influence the world. And I am most grateful to be part of it in some small way. Thank you all for this rare honor. Thank you.
Betty Montgomery. Thank you, Betty. Thank you very, very much. What do you think, folks? Thank you for making a difference for our world and on behalf of the University of Toledo. We're so proud of you. We're so grateful to have you back on campus this weekend. We hope that you enjoy the rest of your time here on campus. I'd like to take a moment before we close to acknowledge a wonderful staff we have at the Alumni Association. We have about 200 plus events that we put on literally around the world, and this staff just does a fabulous job. They've taken care of the decorations for the gala tonight. You'll see them at the parade tomorrow in the Kester Alumni Pavilion. They just do a wonderful job. Would you please join me in thanking the Alumni Association staff? And I want to send a special shout out to a young lady who is retiring after this weekend. She joined us with the merger from the former Medical College of Ohio, and she's been just a blessing to have in the office. Would you please join me in thanking Diane Wisniewski, who's working the lights in the back of the room. Thank you, Diane. Well, we've got a full day's worth of activities for you tomorrow. The Schmeichel Homecoming Parade begins at 10:30. It goes down Bancroft and through the Old Orchard neighborhood. I know you're not going to want to miss that. And if you need some Halloween candy, just grab a bag and fill it up, and you'll have plenty of Halloween candy by the time this parade is over with. As soon as the parade ends, the William and Carol Kester Alumni Pavilion will open. We'll have a live band performing there at that time, and of course you'll be able to get a free hot dog, chips, and pop. It's the place to see and be seen, and I certainly hope that you do make it a point to stop by the Kester Alumni Pavilion for just a little bit on your way to the game. And oh, by the way, I just to keep the facts straight, it is 8 consecutive wins. And at 3:30 tomorrow, it becomes 9 against the team from down south. So we hope that you'll join us in the Glass Bowl for that football game and another rocket victory. We've got other things going on all weekend. We've got a King and Queen reunion. When you're in the parade tomorrow, you will be able to see some kings and queens. In fact, one of them is here. I think Patsy Camp is here. I think she was the homecoming queen back in 1950-something. But she will be on the field before the game, and she will be in the parade as well, along with our other kings and queens. We have our first ever student government reunion, and so that's really exciting to see, with former presidents and vice presidents coming back to the campus. And a final thank you. A final thank you to all of you for supporting this institution. We heard it tonight. We heard it how this institution has changed lives. We will continue to do that. That is the mission of the University of Toledo, of your alma mater. And we thank you for supporting that critical mission. The institution makes a difference in our community, in our state, our country, and our world, and we will continue to do so with your support. Would you all now please rise? Tonight you've heard their stories, and now it's time to take one look back at all of our award recipients. This is our traditional close to this program. The song is the University of Toledo alma mater, a final look at all of these distinguished graduates.
Voices now raising to
Thank you for being with us. We'll see you tomorrow. Drive safely home, please. Good night, everyone.